Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be reacting to Fox News Sunday Night in America. I haven't watched it yet, so we'll check it out together. Here we go.
Joining us now is a former Director of National Intelligence and former federal prosecutor John Lee Ratcliffe. So, Director Katie Porter says, let's not overreact to a deported illegal alien killing a nursing student who was just out for a run. I have a feeling most...
Not overreact. If I was that little girl's father, I'd be acting all right. I'd be reacting.
Most Americans definitely think we should react to this. So what do you think?
I think most Americans are right, and I think the polls show that it's not just the economy anymore as they consider an upcoming election. It shows that most Americans care about what's happening at the border, they care about immigration, and they care about crime in this country. And that really does underscore why Congresswoman Katie Porter's comments are so out of touch and so tone deaf. Trey, you and I have come to expect...
I bet if that was her daughter, she'd be singing a different tune.
Hypocrisy from the left. You mentioned the George Floyd case, so I looked at Katie Porter's social media posts and her tweets during that, and I stopped after the first dozen that showed her hypocrisy, that showed she was saying exactly the opposite then as to what she's saying now. Then she was saying that that one instance must dictate our law enforcement policies regarding funding and standards. And so, you know, but beyond her hypocrisy, Trey, she's just wrong on the facts here. Laken Riley is not one instance. Laken Riley is the latest instance. The week before, we saw New York police officers being savagely beaten by illegal aliens in this country. And before that, we saw gangs of illegal aliens on motorbikes dragging innocent Americans through subways as they committed crimes against them. You know, I think we're all troubled when we see someone like Katie Porter, someone with such warped, morally bankrupt values serving in Congress. I guess the good news is she's apparently even too out of touch for liberal Democrats in California, because it appears she's going to lose a primary in 2 days and hopefully be out of elected office altogether later this year. But at the end, we're still left.
Good. I hope she gets voted out. I don't even know who she is, but have that kind of attitude about a young girl getting killed. It's crazy.
With the very tragic and undeniable conclusion that Katie Porter and Democrats and Joe Biden and his administration for the last 3 years have shown that they care more about open borders than they care about murdered Americans.
You mentioned Joe Biden. Let's listen to him, and I'll ask you a question on the other side.
It's time to act. It's long past time to act. Need more agents, more officers, more judges, more equipment in order to secure our border. Here's what I would say to Mr. Trump. Instead of playing politics with this issue, instead of telling members of Congress to block this legislation, join me, or I'll join you in telling the Congress to pass this bipartisan border security bill.
He's had 3 years, and it is Congress's fault or Donald Trump's fault.
He don't need new laws. All he's got to do is put Trump's policies back in place, and everything would be fine. And then deport all these idiots.
But he says it ain't my fault. What do you say?
Well, it's hard to listen to that. It's just so dishonest and disingenuous. But at the same time, I'm past getting angry at Joe Biden. I mean, it's almost like elder abuse to go after him. I mean, his own Justice Department accepted every word of a special counsel report that said that he's not mentally competent to be held legally responsible for his criminal actions. So I don't even know if he knows what his policies have been for the last 3 years, but I know that his handlers do. I know that his cabinet secretaries do. I know that his DHS secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, knows that 9 months into the Biden administration, he went on TV and bragged about the fact that without Congress, Joe Biden, by signing 90 executive orders, had rescinded almost all of Donald Trump's policies at the border and on immigration. So, you know, I think that reflects just how poorly this administration has addressed this. Trey, as DNI, during the transition, I shared with the Biden team our intelligence about how remain in Mexico and the cooperation of the Mexican government at Donald Trump's request, had secured our border and had taken illegal crossings down to an average of 1,000 per day for the entire year of 2020. As you know, Trey, we now have a 900% increase in that. We now have 10,000 illegals on average coming through on certain days in this country. And as a result, the entire country is suffering as a result of that. And unfortunately, great Americans like Laken Riley are being killed as a direct result of those policies. He didn't need Congress to change all that. And, we don't need Congress to fix this problem. We need a strong American president that we don't have right now.
Amen to that.
That's the great thing about democracy is there's always another election, and we got one coming up in just a few months. John Lee Ratcliffe from the great state of Texas, former Director of National Intelligence, former federal prosecutor. Thank you so much for joining us on the Sunday night.
Great to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.